Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Starbucks. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim. Jim, it's baseball season, baby.
Super Bowl last night. Football is over.
It's done. Finito. Let's go.
It
I'm
is
excited.
done. Pitchers and catchers report in 2 days. Yeah. Time to get excited.
It is. We mentioned last week that this was the last week where there's no baseball involved. So it's official. This is the first week where there is baseball involved. And probably can't come soon enough for most Pirate fans. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. How about before we get into that, you want to just quick touch on the Super Bowl last night?
Yeah. Good game. Kind of.
You know what? The first half was terrible. I was like,
Yes.
This is one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever watched. And then you know what? Usher turned it around. Usher came on, put it down for the halftime show. Pretty good show all around. And then the second half was excellent.
Good call. Vegas just needed a little A-Town stomp, and
That's what they needed. Yeah.
got ourselves a game again. Yeah, that was a
Connor
really good
asks
performance.
if we won any money. So I know for a fact that DiNardo did not, because so if you were reading our locks, so we put out our North Shore 9 staff picks, for the game last night. And DiNardo said Travis Kelce over 0.5 touchdowns. That didn't end up happening, which ended up being good for DiNardo, but he was a dummy and he put under 0.5 touchdowns in his parlay bet. Now, he missed the rest of his parlay, so it didn't end up mattering. But
No, I hit everything else but Tyler's. Tyler's Birdie's INT is what did me in.
Yeah.
But you are right. You are right. That was my lock. I gave great reasons as to why. I mean, how's Kelce not getting a touchdown last night? And I hit the under when I submitted.
You like told everybody Kelce's going to score a touchdown. Kelce's going to score a touchdown. And then you screenshot your bet and you send it to the group and you put under 0.5 touchdowns for Kelce. I'm like, there's no way he did this on purpose. Like, he's just being an idiot and he clicked the wrong button. And that's exactly what ended up happening. But no, Connor, I did quite well. It was probably my best Super Bowl ever.
Oh, really?
From a gambling,
Congrats,
from a gambling standpoint. It went really well. So I'm in a good mood today.
Well, good. Jim's won some money. Baseball season is here, and good stuff, I guess.
Yeah, but no, during the game, like in the second quarter, Robert Murray tweets out that there's serious talks going on between the Pirates and Yasmani Grandal, and not much
clearly not a football
longer. Fan. Yeah, not much longer after that. News came out that they agreed, the Pirates and catcher Yasmani Grandal, 1 year, $2.5 million deal. 1 year, $2.5 million deal. Yasmani Grandal. I'll tell you what, if this Pirates team, if this was 2022, 2021, that area, 2020 to 2022, this would be a good team. Martin Perez, Marco Gonzalez, Yasmani Grandal. This team would be stacked. You have 35 homer Rowdy Tellez in there.
Right. I have some thoughts, and I will say this. You just mentioned how the rumors were happening during the Super Bowl, right? The actual move happened during the Super Bowl. And I was kind of drunk during the Super Bowl. So I say that just because I know. Be glad I'm here right now. It is 7 a.m. No, but I do just say this because I've followed Yasmani Grandal's career. I know the guy, and I've looked into him before this because, ironically enough, we talked about him a few weeks ago. So it's not like I've dug deep into his numbers and stuff right now. But what I want to say is, man, I don't know, Jim. It's one of those, like you said, like I'm fearful like Grandal's just not good. I mean, he hasn't been good,
He
I'm just fearful
aged,
that's just
he has aged poorly these last couple
right.
years.
And like I get like there's a lot of issues that was going on in Chicago and a lot was involving him. So I don't know if maybe the change of scenery is actually going to help in this situation, right? Like maybe that will help. Maybe he just needed to get out of Chicago because it was draining the life out of him. And that's why he performed very weakly. I doubt it. Could be some extent. But he's just been very, very bad. And now it's another year, right? Like this is another year added on to his career and his resume that I just don't. I mean, there's a reason why he signed for $2.5 million. That's part of it, And sure, he'll come on.
That's less money than Austin Hedges got, by the way. Like that's how teams think of Yasmani Grandal. We all know Austin Hedges. Austin Hedges got more money than Grandal.
I'm speechless, but yes, and right, like that's where it's just this isn't to argue, fight, compare, whatever, but just this is why I really wanted Sanchez, for the 7 million in that sense. Like he is a difference maker. He brings talent to the team. He makes the club better. And the Yasmani Grandal, it provides insurance. Like that part I get, right? Like Henry Davis doesn't work out. Like there's still he's better than Ali Sanchez. I feel like that could be a fair comp, right? He's better than Ali Sanchez, but like that's where the bar is right now. Like, is the guy better than Ali Sanchez? How about can this guy help push us to the playoffs?
I'll say this about Grandal. He's not the guy he once was, obviously. Would I rather have had Gary Sanchez, right? We've been on this show this is the third week in a row now we're talking about catchers on this show, amazingly. And we talked about how they need to go out there and they need to get somebody kind of as like an insurance policy for Davis, like just in case something happens. I think Jason DeLay makes a perfectly fine backup catcher, but like if Henry Davis is able to catch, and we've talked about this quite a bit, if Henry Davis is able to catch and do it effectively, then this deal is just this is a backup catcher that you're signing, right? If Henry Davis isn't able to catch effectively, and you've got to scramble and you've got to go to Plan B, Grandal delay then becomes your Plan B, right? And as much as I don't like Yasmani Grandal, like I said, once the Gary Sanchez rumors came out, like I'll kind of all in on like Gary Sanchez would make a lot of sense here. Once they missed out on Gary Sanchez, you're now moving on to Grandal. Grandal delay is a better combo than delay Ali Sanchez. That's kind of where I'm at. So I don't really have too many complaints about this move. Like, do I necessarily like Yasmani Grandal? Not really. I think there's a tiny bit of bounce back potential here just because of the walk rate. Like last year's walk rate was basically the lowest it's been since 2017. So like if that walk rate can get back to like normal for him, then he's a perfectly capable major league backup catcher, right? Like that walk rate climbs back into the mid-teens where he's been pretty much his entire career.
Yeah.
Then this is fine. Like even with the power going away, the defense is still okay. He's not bad defensively. He's not as good as he used to be, but he's not bad. I don't really have any complaints here. I guess my only complaint would be like I wish they would have gotten somebody better for this spot. But the Pirates are better today than they were yesterday. Now, is that marginally better? Sure, probably. But this is what this is. This is an insurance policy in case Henry Davis doesn't work out. You now have Grandal delay instead of delay Sanchez. That's really all this is. $2.5 million. You're not expecting Grandal to really play a whole lot. But if he has to, it's a better situation today than it was yesterday.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, like at all. I don't. It's just, I guess my issue is the entirety of the offseason again. Like that's where we're coming from. Like every move, and I jokingly say now you're on to Rowdy, But I feel like every move outside of Rowdy has been talked in the same way, which is fine, but it's part of the problem. It's that like in a vacuum, this makes the team better. In a vacuum, this isn't bad. But when you look at all the moves together and say that this is the offseason that was put together for the 2024 Pirates, outside of Chapman, like I'm sorry, but outside of Chapman, nothing is a needle mover. Nothing. And they all provide so much more risk. Like the risk with Grandal isn't so much health like others are. But like he's like the risk is he is bad and it's going to stay bad. You know, the risk is he is who we thought he was. And as a bad player who provides negative war, right? Nothing positive. And that's my issue. You know, like I don't hate this, especially for $2.5 million. Like I don't hate adding a Grandal for $2.5 million. For one, Grandal's a catcher I've loved. I mean, like Grandal's a catcher I've wanted on the Pirates for actually some years now.
Yeah, you've loved Grandal for a while.
I just didn't really want him in 2024, and that's the year I get him. You know,
Yeah.
like the one year I'm like, you know, Grandal would not look good on this club is the year the Pirates get him. Yeah, I mean, 2021 is such an anomaly. I mean, you want to talk about 3 true outcomes, and the guy walked 23% of the time, struck out 22%, and then like hit how many home runs? 23. Like that was such a weird year from him. I mean, such an interesting year from him, I should say, more or less than weird. But then like after that was his last good year, 3.5 WAR, and then he fell off. And again, like I know there's a lot of issues that was happening inside the clubhouse in Chicago that time, and all of last year too. And again, like he seemed like a big part of it. So again, maybe there's still more in the tank. He just like mentally wasn't there, and like I'm over this. I don't know, but yeah, like $2.5 million for Yasmani Grandal right now. I like that. But another one of these moves to cap off this like off season is just like it's just not enough. That's just where I'm at. It's just mentally where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the offseason as a whole, and everyone that they've added is like the bare minimum that they could do. Like, except Chapman. Like, that was the one move where it was like, wow, okay, like this is something, right? Everyone else, though, like Marco Gonzalez was two teams just threw away Marco Gonzalez because they didn't have room for him in their rotation, right?
They
They're
paid
basically
for you to
paying
have
the
him.
Pirates to have Marco Gonzalez this year. So that was really your first acquisition. Edward Olivares was acquired, and I kind of like Olivares, but again, Edward Olivares was acquired because the Royals didn't have room on their roster to add, their flurry of free agents that they were signing. So you got Olivares, you've got Gonzalez, who were just kind of castaways. You've got Martin Perez, who was coming off, he won a World Series, but he was taken out of the rotation during the season. You add Rowdy Tellez, who was non-tendered and lost his job halfway through the year after being injured. Now you bring in on Yasmani Grandal, who clearly, again, isn't being brought in to start. He's brought in kind of as this insurance policy that we're talking about. Yeah, it's just not a lot of rocking the boat, like you mentioned, needle movers, right? None of these really are needle movers. These are all floor raisers. Like all of these moves keep the Pirates from being like a 100-loss team, or maybe even probably even like a 90-loss team. Like they keep the Pirates in like that 75-ish win range. But yeah, none of these moves are like, you know what, this is gonna make this team good.
I guess where I'm at too is like I question how much it really raises the floor as well. Again,
I don't know.
like
Having Grandal, like if you need Grandal to start 80 games, that's better than Ali Sanchez starting 80 games by quite a bit.
Sure.
So I mean that's what I mean by like the floor. Like this makes the floor higher.
Sure. I'm sorry. This is where I'm at. So instead of like a -1 WAR player, you're adding possibly like a -0.5 WAR player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think Grandal is capable of putting up a better season. Like I said, I think if the walk rate comes back,
He's capable as
like I think if
much
the walk
as the
rate comes back,
Pirates are capable this year of winning 85 plus games. Like that
they're
variance
capable.
is there.
It's
That
there.
variance is there. But in the same sense, they're also capable of winning 65.
I would put more money on the Pirates winning 85 than losing 65
I
at this
agree.
point.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But my thing is there's just such a high variance in this club. And Grandal adds to it. Like you're saying it's better, but Grandal could easily be a negative WAR player. He's been a negative WAR player 2 seasons in a row. So why is it insane to think he could, at the age of 35, fall off even more? And then when he was a negative 0.4, negative 0.1, like what's say he can't be a negative 0.5 WAR player this year. Like he absolutely could.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm alluding to here. Is just there's just so much of a variance that you're adding more of those type of players to this club that it doesn't really stabilize anything. Like I question what this like the floor truly is. You know, you bring me like we're talking with Alex, you know, the Rowdy and Carlos Santana. Like Santana raises that floor. He just doesn't really increase that ceiling too much. Where Rowdy Tellez, that variance, like Rowdy Tellez is a negative WAR player. He could easily also be a negative 1 WAR player this year again. Like he's already done it, so it could happen. And again, like that's just where I'm at. Like I don't really look at these as much as pushing the floors. So instead, you know, that's what I'm getting at. Like Ali Sanchez, Grandal's probably better. I get that, but like marginally better. He could be just barely better than Ali Sanchez. That's a real risk that this turns out to be. So again,
Yeah.
like that's just where I'm questioning how much the ceiling's truly being improved upon. Jim, I'm a week away. We talked about maybe 2 weeks. We talked about this 2 Starbucks ago. The words literally came out of my mouth, and this is from someone who likes Grandal. I question if I want Kurt Casale over Yasmani Grandal right now. Like that's the level of tier you're talking about as far as catchers that we're talking about. It's like who's remaining in free agency. And those are my words because I just feel like Kurt Casale's safer. Like I feel he could at least be a Major League Baseball player this year, and I fear Grandal could not. Like those are like you clip it from 2 weeks ago when I said
Well,
that.
this kind of goes back to that conversation we had with Alex last week, right? Now,
Yeah.
like, is Kurt Casale probably the safer option? Yes. Like, is Kurt Casale going to give you -1 more? Like, who's like more likely to give you -1 WAR, Grandal
Grandal.
or Casale? It's probably Grandal. But who's more capable of giving you 1.5 WAR, Casale
Grandal.
or Grandal? Right. So I think that's what that's the play here, right? Like, there's still a little bit of upside in Grandal. Now, like, don't twist my words here and say that. Like Ryan was twisting my words all last night, saying I was applauding this
Not
signing, right?
Ryan.
And I'm like, I'm not applauding this signing, but there is more upside to Yasmani Grandal than any of the remaining free agent catchers out there, right? And we'll go down the list: Manny Pena, Kurt Casale, Mike Zunino, Cam Gallagher. Those are the options. Like those are the other
Yeah.
options right now. This is why Gary Sanchez would have made a lot of sense, right?
Right.
So once Sanchez got off the board, that's what's left. Um, and yeah, like can Grandal have a bad season? Yeah, and guess what? If he does, you gave him $2.5 million, right? And then you're still stuck with what you had. But there is some upside here. Again, I just kind of go back to that walk rate. I don't think Grandal's ever going to hit like he did in the past. But
Mhm.
if Grandal can at least get that walk rate back to where it's been his entire career, I think he has the possibility of at least being somewhat useful. That's kind of my take here. I would rather the Pirates go for the more risky high variance player, honestly, than the safe pick that is not going to give you any value whatsoever, but he's just not as bad as your other options. So again, if you're saying Jim, pick between Gallagher, Casale, Zanino, Grandal, and Manny Pena, I'm going Grandal. Like I think like if those
Yeah.
are my options, I'm going Grandal.
So once again, to just say what I did before, I don't disagree with what you said right there. The problem lies in the fact that you chose to be left with those options. Like again, like that's what I'm getting. Like I don't disagree, but again, the upside could be there as much as the downside could be there, which is literally like the MO of the 2024 Pirates. Like that's just my issue with this team is again, like there is just so much variance and all the guys that they're bringing in add to that variance. I'm not saying Grandal was the wrong choice over Kirk Casale. I'm just saying what he provides and how that fits right into exactly the 2024 Pirates. Like this team could go literally any way right now for this 2024. And that's just where I'm nervous about. And again, like that's again, like I'm saying, like I don't think they're not capable of winning 85 games. I don't think they're not capable of competing for the division. I just don't think that they've put themselves in a position to feel confident that they will be in that position. And that's what the Grandals do, right? That's what the Rowdy Telez's do. That's what the Marco Gonzalez's do. They give you that possibility, right? That variance is there, but you don't feel confident. And it's because you've chosen all of these moves. And again, like that's again, like this is where I'm at, right? Like you put yourself in a position to be left with just these guys. So you're making the decision of would you rather have Grandal because of that upside? The answer is yes, I get it, but you put yourself in that position that was your choice. You could have made something. This isn't like I want this to not be misconstrued. This isn't the harp on because they missed out on Gary Sanchez, right? But like if you got Gary Sanchez and you made that happen, that removes all this conversation. And now you have that guy that's you're comfortable with that can make this team better. And you don't have to worry if he can be a negative WAR player.
Yeah. I mean, I think, in hindsight, I wish the Pirates went about this offseason entirely different.
Correct. I wish they shopped the other part of the store. Just
I mean that's I mean you're right. That's what it comes down to is like everything that they did this offseason is the exact same thing they would have done 2 years ago, 3 years ago to just fill in a roster. Like they just filled their roster. That's really all they've done.
Yes. Again, like outside of Chapman, I give them credit for that. That was a complete blindside move.
That's true. Chapman being the one difference.
But everything else, you're right. It's literally every one of these moves is a move they would have made during a 100-loss rebuild season outside of Chapman.
Yeah. Instead of signing Rich Hill or Tyler Anderson, they signed Martin Perez. Instead of getting Jose Quintana or Vince Velasquez for pennies, they got Marco Gonzalez. Like these are all identical type moves to what they've just been doing, right? And what they've been doing hasn't been good. They're just banking on a lot of their current options to get better. Like they're putting they're putting all their eggs in that basket, DiNardo. They're putting all their eggs in the basket.
Not to bring up that conversation.
Their current players are going to be better this year than they were last year.
One positive spin on Grandal. I'll give you this, Jim. One positive spin is with a Gary Sanchez signing, you're kind of pounding that, hey, if he can play first base, that'll look good. Grandal can't play first base. I guess so the one positive is he also can play first. I said something good. My job is done.
Yeah. 16 games at actually six games at first base last year. So it's not like it's a norm, but yeah, I guess he's capable of playing the position. He's played 95 games at first base throughout the course of his career.
So there you go.
And he's been average.
I mean, that's all you could ask for Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there is that.
There is that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pitchers and catchers, 2 days away. So, baseball's in the air. We're about to get those videos from beat reporters' cell phones uploaded into Twitter, these grainy videos from 200 yards away. So get ready for that. Get ready for a lot of people to be in the best shape of their lives. Gonna see some of that.
Oh yeah, it's that time,
But
baby.
yeah,
By the
it's
way, Vladdy
exciting.
Jr. is in the best shape of his life. Then that's for real.
Yeah. A lot of people are. This is the best shape of your life season right now. No, so
MVP Cy Young coming up.
I'm excited. It's just one of those things. Like no matter, it's like that GIF, right? Like no matter what, they always bring me back in. Like the sound of that baseball hitting the catcher's mitt in mid-February just makes you ready for the season.
Yep. I'm 100% with you, man. Like, don't misconstrue also anything that we say, like, as far as like we hate baseball, the Pirate season, or whatever. I mean, I'm so excited that the season's starting. It's back. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like baseball is back. I'm legit excited right now. This week is awesome. And I can't wait for those stupid, terrible videos, and I can't
Mhm.
wait for someone to see another video, like not leaked, but another video from somebody to throw one pitch and then to say, oh, he's back. We're ready. He's back. We're cooking. I can't wait
Who's
for all the
gonna
dumb
be
takes on Twitter.
Who's gonna be? There's always this time of year too. You're always gonna get those stories where it's like you've got the veteran, and it's just like a picture of them talking to a younger player, and you're like, oh my god, maybe he's teaching him this or this. Like last year, it was Austin Hedges is teaching these guys really
And Rich
how
Hill.
to be a catcher. Rich
Yeah.
Hill's teaching everybody how to throw breaking balls. Who's gonna be this year's? Who's gonna be this year's main teacher?
It's a good question. I feel like it's got to go to Perez, right? Like he's going to be the savvy
Martin Perez.
veteran who's like the crafty lefty, and just
Mhm.
off the World Series, high, and he's got so much to give now. Like I came from a World Series team, and let me make you guys better. I feel like he's gonna fit the mold there. Grandal
Yeah,
too, maybe Grandal.
I'm waiting for there's gonna be like a picture of Grandal sitting on a bucket, right? Just like watching Henry Davis catch. That picture is 100% being posted online somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. And he is 100% just zoned out, not thinking about anything.
Yep.
But in that picture, he's making
There's
Henry
also
Davis
gonna
a
be
better catcher.
there's also gonna be a quote where it's like, I'm happy to come in here and do my part and really teach these young catchers how to be a major leaguer.
Yep.
That's definitely being said.
Also the pitchers. What's Grandal? I mean, Grandal. I mean, coming from the Dodgers too. What's he going to teach Quinn Priester? Think about that.
Yeah. See, that's the game within the game.
There you go. I mean, can't leave out the pitchers, but he's going to bring this as well.
See, now I'm just staring at Yasmani Grandal's Fangraphs page, and I'm just like, what if he does what he did in 2021?
What if he does what he did every single year before 2022? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of going back to this, like the guys they brought in have all been good at one point in time. They just aren't really all that great anymore. Except Chapman.
That's true. That's true. They were good at one point in time.
Every single one of them.
So maybe there's a slight difference in the signings this year. Every other year where they're making these signings in the 100-loss rebuild club, you can't say that for all of them. So this year they went the route of we're still targeting that talent, that type of player. It's just that type of player also had to be good at one point. And they were. So yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
All right. Instead of just riffing some more about Pirates and catchers, because I could just talk about that for like another hour. Why not?
Yeah.
Anything else that we want to talk about of note?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Because well, I guess the only outside news was like Clayton Kershaw signed with the Dodgers. Nothing else has really happened either, right?
Clayton Kershaw signing with the Dodgers. I don't really want to get any. We have made our thoughts known on Trevor Bauer multiple times throughout this
Yeah.
offseason, so I don't need to
I
get
guess
into
that's
that.
a thing. Yeah.
But he did say yesterday on Twitter that um, they reached out to the Pirates and the Pirates said no.
So there's your definitive answer from the source. If
Yeah.
all the other beat writers,
But Bauer basically spent
different.
the whole weekend whining and begging that nobody's going to sign him. Blamed everybody but himself. And is basically just begging for a job at this point. But no one seems to be picking him up on this offer.
Yeah. I'm with you. You want to see what we said? There's the Trevor Bauer episode. You can hear our thoughts on why. But
yeah,
right.
we talked about this for an hour a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So just go back and watch that.
And if we didn't, other people did. But yeah. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate y'all for watching. We'll be back again as always. And I guess when we do come back for NS on Live, pitchers and catchers will have reported. So exciting stuff.
NS on Live on Thursday this week.
Yep, Thursday NS on Live, because happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah, we won't take you away from your Waffle House and White Castle Valentine's Days while you're reading the new Alex Stumpf article on MLB.com.
That's right.
To your significant other. So happy Valentine's Day. We'll come ready to go on Thursday night.
Yep, Thursday night. So we'll see you then. Don't pay attention to this graphic at the end of telling you times because I did not update it. So Thursday we'll be back. See ya. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.